Thanks for sticking with us and coming back for part 2 of mixing our song, Brew for Two. If you missed part 1, check it out here. We go through all the instrumentation. If you want to check out where the song came from and see how we recorded it, check out this link where we go through the entire recording and editing process. Now, I promised I would show you how I mixed the song using only the included plugins when the original video got past 200 likes. It is way past that, and it is bigger than any of us thought it would be, so thank you so much for your continued support. Now, let's finish this. So far, we took you through the instrumentation, that was the drums, bass, rhythm guitars, and the lead guitar. In this video, we're focusing on the vocals, the master bus, and the automation. If you see any mixing bombshells in this video, be sure to drop me a comment below. And while you're at it, give this video a thumbs up to feed the YouTube algorithm. Let's dive into the vocals. We're starting off with the lead vocal here. Let's take a listen to what we have. I'll just start right into the verse.
I guess I can't be surprised. Our laughter led to sunrise. Don't leave yet, let's keep this up. Keep talking, I'll pour you a cup. I've got your favorite blend. I don't want our time to end. Stay a while, kick off your shoes. I can't brew for two. Sipping life anew. You're the one for me, I knew. This has to be fate. We're on a percolator date.
So that's the vocal part. I wanted you to hear the verse, pre-chorus, and the chorus just to see what we're working with here. So these are not tuned at all, just like in the tracking video. It's all natural. So let me bypass all the plugins here, and I'll show you the raw sound. I'll solo it up.
I guess I can't be surprised. Our laughter led to sunrise. Don't leave yet, let's keep this up. Keep talking, I'll pour you a cup.
So we are working with raw vocal here. It doesn't sound polished at all. So let's start with the first plugin here. First up, we've got the Red 2 EQ. And I didn't use any presets here because I know what I wanted out of this. The first thing was to clear up a lot of that mud and that pillowy sound on my plosives. I have terrible plosives, and you gotta clean that up with people like me. So I rolled off up to about 100 hertz and just cleaned up that low end. And then the order I went was, first I brightened up here at the top end, around 12K. And you see I've got a really healthy boost here. We're looking at like 5.5 dB. With a lead vocal, you really want that air to make it cut over the top and just shine. Then we've got around 8K, a big healthy boost of maybe 3 to 3.5 dB. And this is kind of making it a little bit brighter than the drums, making it shine over those. And then we've got a low mid boost here around 800 hertz to just give the vocal some energy and cut through on small speakers. So I'll show you the before and after.
I guess I can't be surprised. Our laughter led to sunrise. Don't leave yet, let's keep this up. Keep talking, I'll pour you a cup. I've got your favorite blend.
So I know that sounds like a lot right now, but I can always de-ess later. A vocal needs to be bright and upfront and airy, unless you're going for like a dark, moody thing. But generally, in most styles, the vocal is what you listen for, and it's got to be what's right up front. All right, and then next up we've got a compressor, just the basic Pro Tools compressor, and I just did the vocal comp preset. So it sounds kind of nasally on its own, but this compressor is really leveling everything out and then adding some energy to it too. So listen to my T's and all the k sounds. So let's listen to the before and after.
I guess I can't be surprised. Our laughter led to sunrise. Don't leave yet, let's keep this up. Keep talking, I'll pour you a cup.
Just gives it a lot more energy. And when I track in my studio, I'm usually using a hardware compressor. I'm taking out, for vocals, anywhere between 3 and 10 dB. So this is kind of doing that same thing. And then I'll use another compressor in my mix sessions. So of course, up next we have another compressor. This time we're using the Red 3 compressor, and this is strictly for energy, just pure pumping. I did the Vox lead preset, and I'll show you before and after.
I guess I can't be surprised. Our laughter led to sunrise. Don't leave yet. Let's keep this up. Keep talking. I'll pour you a cup. I've got your favorite blend. I don't want our time to end.
So that's really being slammed there. Just like with bass, the lead vocal needs lots of compression. I usually use an 1176 for something like this, but I just wanted to use the plugins that came with the Scarlett Solo. But as you can see, I'm knocking out between 10 and 12 dB after that first compressor that was taking out a healthy amount. And I've got a 3-to-1 ratio, a little bit slower attack, and a fairly fast release. I tried to have the release all the way down, but that was just too pumpy, so I brought it up until it was listenable. I should note, as I'm mixing the vocal, I never mix it in solo. Again, no one's going to hear the vocal in solo. People only care how it sounds with the entire mix. So I know it sounds a little nasally right now, but that's making it cut through the mix, and we're not done with everything yet, but it's going to sound nasally on its own, so just keep that in mind. Now, because of these two compressors and all that EQ, we're getting a lot of sibilance, so up next we have a de-esser. Not doing a whole lot here, just the range is minus 1.3 dB, and then a little trick I like to use with this, a little trick I like to do with this de-esser is use this listen function, and then find the frequency where it's real nasty.
Our laughter led to sunrise. Don't leave yet. Let's keep this up. Keep talking. I'll pour you a cup. I've got your
You can really hear it on
sunrise. Don't leave yet.
those parts. So let's loop this, and I'll bypass it, and then you can hear before and after of where the harshness kind of jumps out of the speakers, and this just dials it back a bit.
Led to sunrise. Don't let to sunrise. Don't let to sunrise. Don't let to sunrise.
Another thing I should note is I typically do the full band here. You can only compress the high frequencies, and I'll show you what that looks like. I'll make this loop a little less annoying.
Our laughter led to sunrise. Don't.
That actually sounds pretty good. I might leave that, to be honest. But I typically do the entire frequency spectrum because it sounds a bit more natural on vocals. Up next, we've got just a limiter to keep the vocal locked in place. And I use the brick wall preset. I'll just show you what this sounds like before and after. I'm not trying to get a sound out of this limiter. I just want the vocal to be locked in, so I'm not spiking my bus compressor here.
I guess I can't be surprised. Our laughter led to sunrise. Don't leave yet. Let's keep this up. Keep talking. I'll pour you a cup.
It's not really doing much there. Let's see what it does in the chorus here.
You're the one for me, I knew. This has to be fair.
So as you saw in those just beginning phrases, we've got a huge spike because both compressors have a little bit slower attack. So it's letting that transient through. And the brick wall limiter is just containing that and not spiking everything else. But you can't hear it. It's super transparent. And like I said, I'm not trying to get a sound out of it, just control that. Up next, we've got the saturation knob because I love saturation. And I kept this neutral because I want it to saturate the entire frequency spectrum. The highs and the lows just thicken up the vocal in all sections. So let's take a listen before and after. And again, this is going to change the volume.
I guess I can't be surprised. Our laughter led to sunrise. Don't leave yet. Let's keep this up. Keep talking. I'll pour you a cup. I've got your favorite blend.
So when you add a bunch of high-end EQ like that, if you want to just thicken up the lower mids and fatten the vocal, you can keep the saturation at the keep low section. Let's listen to that.
I guess I can't be surprised. Our laughter led to sunrise. Don't leave yet. Let's keep this up. Keep talking. I'll pour you a cup. I've got your favorite blend. I don't want our time to end.
So I like it at the neutral position because it kind of adds this sheen over the top of the vocals. But the keep low did sound really good just for fattening and thickening. So let's listen to the vocals before and after all of the the tone plugins because I've got a delay here and a reverb here. I have those inactive right now, and I'll show you what I'm doing with those after we're done mixing all the vocals. So let's listen to before and after with the whole mix.
I guess you can't be surprised. Our laughter led to sunrise. Don't leave yet. Let's keep this up. Keep talking. I'll pour you a cup.
So that's before. As you heard, it was super quiet. Let's throw these in.
I guess I can't be surprised. Our laughter led to sunrise. Don't leave yet. Let's keep this up. Keep talking. I'll pour you a cup. I've got your favorite blend. I don't want our time to end.
The vocal's much more level, much more upfront, and the secret is all that compression. So it sounds boring, super boring, without any compression. So you kind of need that to make a pro-level vocal. All right, up next we have a second vocal track. I didn't do as much here because I wanted this to sit behind the main vocal. So let's just take a listen to what we have for the final sound, and I'm gonna make the delay and reverb inactive as well.
After led to sunrise, don't leave yet. Let's keep this up, keep talking. I'll pour you a cup. I've got your favorite blend. I don't want our time to end.
So that's our harmony. It's nice and level, sitting below and a little bit behind the main vocal. I'll show you what I'm doing here. So first up we have an EQ, rolling off to about 100 hertz here. And then not boosting any low mids because again I want it to sit behind the main vocal. And then I'm boosting a little bit lower in the high mids. That way it doesn't overshadow the main vocal. So I'm doing about, 2.5 to 3 dB, just above 5K here. And again, nothing scientific. I'm just figuring out what sounds good and what didn't fight with the main vocal. And then up here we've got a 4 dB boost at like 14K. Bring out some of that air without getting in the way of that 12 dB, the 12K boost on the lead vocal. Let's take a listen before and after. And then I'll show you the lead vocal with the backing vocal with just the EQ.
Don't leave yet, let's keep this up, keep talking, I'll pour you a cup. I've got your favorite blend, I don't want our time to end. Stay a while, kick off your shoes.
Oh, I don't know about you guys, but I hate hearing the sound of my own voice. Oh, just cringy. All right, so let's listen to the lead vocal and the harmony with just the EQ.
Rise, don't leave yet, let's keep this up, keep talking, I'll pour you a cup. I've got your favorite blend, I don't want our time to end. Stay a while, kick off your shoes.
So I bypassed the EQ there for a little bit, and they were both kind of cloudy, both kind of fighting for dominance in that frequency range. So I just boosted in different frequency areas to give them each their own section, and then just made sure the lead is a little bit louder in the final mix. All right, up next in the harmony, we have a compressor. Again, the vocal comp preset, and I process these fairly similarly as far as compression goes, but I don't compress the harmony vocal as much because I don't use the Red 3 compressor, because I don't want as much energy out of it. Let's take a listen before and after this.
Don't leave yet, let's keep this up, keep talking, I'll pour you a cup. I've got your favorite blend, I don't want our time to end. Stay a while, kick off your shoes.
Yeah, so as you can see, we're taking out about 18 dB here. I had to do more with this compressor than on the main vocal because I wasn't going to be using the Red 3 compressor to get that energy. So I wanted this just to be a straight up leveler and make every note very even. Up next, we've got a de-esser. Same concept, not de-essing as much here, but I did have to raise the frequency a little higher because I'm boosting in a higher area. Let's take a listen before and after.
Don't leave yet, let's keep this up, keep talking, I'll pour you a cup. I've got your favorite blend, I don't wanna...
Again, just controlling those t and k sounds so they're not jumping out of the speakers and poking your ears. Then we have a brick wall limiter again. Same exact thing as the first one, just controlling that initial peak on the choruses.
You're the one for me, I knew. This has to be fair.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'm touching this one very much because I'm compressing so much with the first compressor that it's just kind of leveling it, and I don't have that big spike because I don't have the energy from the Red 3. So let's take a listen to the chorus with both vocals in, just so you can hear a different part of the song.
I can brew for two, sipping life anew. You're the one for me, I knew. This has to be fate.
So it sounds a lot different when there's two vocals singing the same part. That's just called doubling, and it gives us a cool effect and kind of sets the vocal in a weird mood, cool tone that can work for a few different things. I wouldn't recommend it for everything, but if you're looking for that specific tone, that's how you get it. And I should note, I didn't do any saturation on this second vocal because I didn't want it as thick and as upfront as the main vocal. All right, so let's move on to the backing vocals. We had Cal and Tay singing, and again, I'm just going to make the delays inactive. I'll show you that afterward. All right, so let's just take a listen to these two backing vocals. Raw, I will bypass all of the plugins.
I can brew for two. I can brew for two.
So as you can hear, one side is definitely darker than the other. So I had to EQ them a little bit differently, but they don't have to match exactly. The difference in them kind of makes the sound wider and sound more like a group. So first up on Cal's track, I just had the red EQ, rolling off about 100 hertz. That's pretty common for me on vocals, as you maybe have been able to find out. No mid-range boost here, but I did a higher mid boost at around 5K, just to make a jump out of the dense mix at the chorus, and then a little boost around 12K. The reason I can boost at 12K here and not fight with the lead vocal is because the lead vocal isn't really doing anything there, so there was space in that frequency range for me to boost on Cal's part. Let's take a listen before and after.
I can brew for two. I can brew for two. I can brew for two.
It just opens it up, adds a sheen to it, and makes it cut a little bit more. And let's add in Tay's part. I had the ready EQ here. Same thing, high pass filter at about 100 hertz. Didn't boost as much 5K. And the same boost at 12K. Let's take a listen before and after.
I can brew for two. I can brew for two.
Same thing, just opening it up, making a sheen over the top. Let's hear them together.
I can brew for two.
All right, then I need to compress them, level them out, make them nice and even so that way I can turn them up in the mix without spiking the meters, and all of the notes are even. So I just did the vocal comp preset again here, and I think I just copied and pasted it.
I can brew for two.
So Tays were taking out about 18 dB.
I can brew for two.
Cal's were looking at about minus 17, minus 16. So we're compressing pretty hard here. Again, it just gives it a little bit of energy and levels everything out so that way it's that volume in the mix and no other volume. Let's take a listen before and after of both of them.
I can brew for two. I can brew for two.
So they're a little bit quieter. I probably could have done the makeup gain a little bit more, but I thought it sat well in the mix, so I just left it. Up next, we have de-essers on each of them, just cutting that sibilance so they're not jumping out of the speakers and being distracting or hurting your ears. Here's before and after.
I can brew for two. I can brew for two.
Just kind of tames it and puts it in its place. I'm not limiting these at all because I'm compressing pretty hard. I also didn't think they needed limiting, so that's where we're sitting right now. So at this point, let's take a listen to the entire chorus with all of the vocals in with no delay or reverb.
I can brew for two, sipping life anew. I can brew for two. You're the one for me, I knew. I can brew for two. This has to be fate. I can brew for two. On a percolator dance.
Okay, so we're getting there. A little boring in the chorus yet because we haven't added any effects. So let's start with the lead vocal again. Gonna mute these other vocals And we're going to start off with the mod delay. So I do have some automation going here, but on the delay, I'm literally just bypassing this section where it's just me, and then it comes back in right away with the rest of the band. So I'll show you what that sounds like in solo, and I have that going throughout the entire song. I'll bypass it before and after so you can hear it.
I guess I can't be surprised. Our laughter led to sunrise. Don't leave yet. Let's keep this up. Keep talking. I'll pour you a cup.
So it's not a lot. It's just a little bit of delay. I don't like super wet vocals, especially for this style of music. The delay kind of helps fill out the vocal, and I like it more at a level where you can feel it rather than hear it. So that's a good guide for when you're setting your delays, if you don't want a super wet delay. So let's take a look at the settings here. I started with the slapback delay preset, and I kind of changed things from there. I have one side going at the quarter note rate and one side at the eighth note rate, but then I added this groove at 6% on one side and -5 on the other side to help spread the vocal, just so it's not locked in with everything else, and it kind of gives it a little bit more of a spacey feel. Then I just changed the dry-wet blend on each side, and I landed at 5%. Again, let's take a listen before and after.
I guess I can't be surprised. Our laughter led to sunrise. Don't leave yet. Let's keep this up. Keep talking. I'll pour you a cup. I've got your favorite blend.
So not a lot, but enough to make a difference. Up next, we've got a reverb. In this one, I've got some automation on, which I'll go more into detail later. But I'll just show you before and after. I started with the vocal plate preset and turned down the dry wet knob until it was just enough to add some thickness to it. And then I also added a pre-delay so that way it wouldn't muddy up the beginning of the words. So here's before and after.
I guess I can't be surprised. Our laughter led to sunrise. Don't leave yet. Let's keep this up. Keep talking. I'll pour you a cup. I've got...
So I have the reverb after the delay because I wanted to add reverb to the delay signal as well. So it's adding reverb to the main signal, and I just have these as plugins over here, not sends. It's adding reverb to the main signal and the delay on each side, so it's giving it even more space than before. Let's listen to that in the context of the mix.
I guess I can't be surprised. Our laughter led to sunrise. Don't leave yet. Let's keep this up. Keep talking. I'll pour you a cup. I've got your favorite blend.
So it's subtle, but it really adds another dimension to the music there. It made it a lot less boring and a lot more fun to listen to. Up next, we've got the double vocal, or the harmony. And I'll make these active. Starting off with the delay. This one we have a little bit more delay on it because it's underneath the main vocal. I wanted to sit farther back too, so I add more delay to make it come farther back. And then instead of a quarter note and an eighth note on each side, I have an eighth note and a 16th note on each side. So let's take a listen to this in solo, before and after delay.
Don't leave yet. Let's keep this up. Keep talking. I'll pour you a cup. I've got your favorite blend. I don't want our time to end. Stay a while. Kick off your shoes.
That one's really subtle. With the delay that fast like that, it's acting more of like a chorus in certain parts, and it's just kind of helping spread the vocal rather than make it sound like it's delayed. Up next, we've got the reverb. And this one I just copied and pasted from before, so here's before and after.
Don't leave yet. Let's keep this up. Keep talking. I'll pour you a cup. I've got your favorite blend. I don't want our time to end.
Same thing as before, literally just copied and pasted from the first vocal track. Let's take a listen to this verse with both of them in, and then I'll bypass the delay and reverb on each one.
Can't be surprised. Our laughter led to sunrise. Don't leave yet. Let's keep this up. Keep talking. I'll pour you a cup. I've got your favorite blend. I don't want our time to end.
Again, very subtle, but it's those small changes that add up to a big difference and make a great final result. Up next, let's check out the delay on the backing vocals. And I just copied and pasted this for each one. I used the little springy preset and added lots of delay, 16%. That's a lot for me. So let's take a listen to both of these. I'll bypass it and then bring it in.
I can brew for two. I can brew for two.
Again, that delay is just kind of bringing them back a little bit, making them sound like background vocals, but spreads them and adds a little bit of sustain to it, so that way it carries through. Let's listen to that whole chorus with all of these effects in.
I can brew for two. Sipping life anew. I can brew for two. You're the one for me, I knew. I can brew for two. This has to be better. I can brew for two. We're on a percolator.
Okay, so we're getting pretty close to the end here. So one thing I did on my master track before I did some automation was I added a little bit of EQ. I did it before the compressor. I usually do it after the compressor, but this time I thought it just sounded better going into the compressor. So definitely play with that stuff and just do what sounds good. On this EQ, I'm rolling up to about 40 hertz, just taking off any rumble, any low end buildup that's gonna really knock the compressor too hard. I added a tiny boost at about 80 hertz because I wanted some thickness out of the kick. A good boost of about maybe a dB, which is kind of a lot on a master bus. At 1K, adding a dB, maybe a dB and a half, just to bring out everything in the mix. Your mids are the magic in your mix, and that's what's going to carry on all speakers. Not every speaker can reproduce the sub low end or the super high end, but every speaker has mid range, and that's what I wanted to carry through on this mix. I didn't do any boost on the high mids here, and I did a tiny shelf at about maybe 13K, just to add a little bit of shimmer. So let's take a listen before and after. I'll play the chorus so you can hear everything.
I can brew for two. Sipping life anew. I can brew for two. You're the one for me, I knew. I can brew for two. This has to be better. I can brew for two.
So that EQ is just kind of making things jump out of the speakers a bit more. It's controlling that low end, and it sounds just more like a polished record. So it's putting more of that energy into my compressor. All right, so now we will leave that on for the remainder of the mix session, and I'll just show you what the compressor is doing at this point too. And again, keep in mind we have the dry-wet blend here. When I bypass it, really listen to the drum kit and the energy of the song as a whole. It just kind of falls apart and gets really boring. So I'll bypass it and put it back in.
I can brew for two. Sipping life anew. I can brew for two. You're the one for me, I knew. I can brew for two.
It's just bringing that snare and the kick up front. It's adding like a little energy lift to the entire song. All right, now let's do our automation. This is the final step in every mix for me. It's what separates professional mixes from amateur mixes. And in my mixes, I usually use just a single channel fader port, and I ride the fader on every single track. Writing automation with a mouse sucks. It's terrible. So I only did a little bit here. But when I programmed the drums, I changed some of the velocities of the kick and the snare hits to emulate that automation so I don't have to do it later. Automation is programming your DAW to do certain moves for you, whether it be a volume change or an EQ change, so that you don't have to do it as it's bouncing. In the old days of mixing, there used to be guys that had 10 faders each, because you have 10 digits, and they would change volume of the song as it went through. You don't need 2 or 3 guys to mix anymore because you can automate the volumes in your DAW. In this mix, I automated some volume, automated some pan, and some effect sense. So let's take a look. The only real automation here is on these 3 tracks. First, we did the lead guitar with some volume automation, just bringing it down at this tail. Solo it up here. And I know that's kind of drastic on its own, but that's when the vocal comes in, and they were fighting pretty hard. So I had to dip that lead guitar pretty quickly, and in the mix it sounds totally natural. Let's take a listen.
I guess I can't be surprised.
Sounds like a record. Then I did some volume automation on the lead guitar. At the verse here, it was just too much, so I had to bring the volume down. I'll show you before and after the automation here. Delete this.
Pour you a cup. I've got your favorite blend. I don't wanna.
All you can hear is the lead guitar there, so I had to bring that down. So I'll show you before and after.
Pour you a cup. I've got your favorite blend. I don't want our time to end. Stay a while, kick off your shoes. I can't.
Just brought it down a few dB and let it sit underneath the vocal there, just as like a little fun part on the side. I also automated the pan. So in the beginning and the chorus, the lead guitar is panned right up the center. In the verse here, I hard panned it to one side, just to get it out of the way of the lead vocal and just make it sound a little different on one side, add some little ear candy to it.
I'll pour you a cup. I've got your favorite blend. I don't want our time to end. Stay a while.
See, it's a lot more interesting when it's coming out of one side than right down the center. Then we got automation on the vocals. I'm doing volume automation first. So the first thing I did was automated the chorus and just found points. I used the smart tool up here, just the hand, and found certain points that needed to be brought down. These long notes were just getting to be too much, and I needed to leave room for when Cal and Tay came in. So take a listen before and after.
Sipping life anew. I can brew for two. You're the one for me. I knew.
Since there's two vocals there, I brought the whole chorus down and brought the tails down even farther. With two vocals there, it brings the level up naturally. So you got to cut that and compensate for it. If you like your vocals up front, you don't have to bring them down. But they can still be a little up front, have that cool double effect, and fit with the rest of the mix. Then when it brings down the tail, it just makes plenty of room for that backing vocal. And then at the end here, there's just one vocal again. So I brought it back up. I'll zoom in here. Brought the whole thing back up a little bit, and then made certain words jump out so you could hear them. And it doesn't have to be this sweeping, huge automation, make it punch through at the last one. It definitely can be, it's fun to listen to, but these little changes go a long way. And the last bit of automation I did was the delay and reverb. The first thing I automated was the master bypass on the delay. When it's just me here,
I can't brew for two.
if there was a delay going at that part, then that would be really distracting and not sound like everything stops. So to make the next part sound bigger, I had to make that part sound smaller. So I bypassed the delay and the reverb there. Then we've got some reverb automation where I turn up the wet-dry mix at these tails of the chorus just to make it more dramatic. I'll show you what it sounds like in solo, where we go from absolutely nothing and then to having reverb and delay, and then increasing the reverb at the end.
I can't brew for two. Sipping life anew.
It's subtle, but it makes a big difference, and it kind of carries that long note, makes it sing while everything else is going on. And I just did the same exact thing for the backing vocal, so they have the same effect.
Life anew.
Now that we've got all of the automation in and you know what's going on with it, let's take one last listen.
Stay a while, kick off your shoes. I can't brew for two. Sipping life anew. I can't brew for two. You're the one for me. I knew. I can't brew for two. This has to be better. I can't brew for two. We're on a percolator dance.
And that is how you make an energetic and punchy mix using only stock plugins. Don't forget to give me your favorite mixing tip in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up and check out pixelproaudio.com for all of your Focusrite gear needs. We really appreciate your continued support. Thanks for watching. David out. I was gonna say give this like a thumbs up. What was my first line? Okay.
Bye. Okay, ready? Bye.
And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. 2 if you can. That was weird, I winked. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching.